Look north, our top story tonight. Touring the country to raise awareness of suicide. The initiative that's begun in Yorkshire visits Sheffield on its way to Downing Street.
We want to change the dialogue, just get people talking, to normalise conversations, because stigma thrives where there is silence.
We'll be live in Sheffield with the latest. Also tonight, the future of the iconic John Lewis building in Sheffield has been decided 2.5 years after the store's closure. The community enterprise marking a decade of helping people with learning disabilities find employment.
Speed, power, determination, and this is only the warm-ups. Join us shortly for more from Otley Cycle Races tonight.
And it's been a warm and humid day, but with quite a lot of cloud in the forecast. The promise of something brighter and fresher tomorrow. I'll be back later in the programme with your full forecast.
Hello, thank you for your company. We're starting the programme tonight with the Baton of Hope. It's a piece of artwork in itself, isn't it? But it's also symbolic. This is an emblem of suicide prevention, an initiative founded here in Yorkshire. It's currently touring the country on its way to number 10 Downing Street. Today, it's in Sheffield. That's the hometown of Ross McCarthy. Now, tragically, Ross took his own life during lockdown, and that prompted his family to campaign for greater awareness. Suicide remains the biggest killer of people under 35 in this country. Ross's family hope that the Baton will promote important conversations and also better mental health support. We're going to go live now to Tudor Square in Sheffield and join Claire Frisbee. Claire, it looks like it's a great turnout there tonight.
Yes, Amy, it has been a great turnout. This is very much the finale in Tudor Square. There's been live music and there have been speeches which are still ongoing. But today has been a very emotional one in Sheffield. It started early doors on the blue and white side of the city at Hillsborough. The Baton then headed its way towards the Olympic Legacy Park. It was carried by Sheffield boxer Johnny Nelson, very much a campaigner for mental health, and it was watched on by pupils from the UTC. It then headed on to the iconic lead mill, and it was a day when tears flowed as the baton carriers remembered those that they had lost and raising awareness about suicide prevention. Well, from there it headed on to the red and white side of the city, because very much the theme here in Sheffield is unity, with the two football clubs coming together, home both of them, to Talk Club, which is an opportunity in a place where men can go and support each other and talk. Very important, the theme of today. So the baton is a symbol as it's passed through the city, through different walks of life, of uniting together all the charities and organisations which are working together for zero suicide in society. Let's talk now to one man who has walked the entire route around Will Vauxhall from Sheffield Wednesday. You're here, very, very special reason, because you lost both your granddads within a short space of time. It's been important to be here, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It's felt a really emotional day, a lot more emotional than I thought it would be. It's been a long time for me since I lost my granddads, nearly 15 years, and it brought up a lot of emotion, but it's also been nice in a way to speak to people that have been through the same thing. We wish we hadn't been through the same thing, but we have. And just the way we can support each other and now look forward to trying to save lives, because that's why we're here. It is memory, but the main thing is to prevent people from killing themselves, look forward and be positive.
Well, you walked the entire route. Mike, it was an army of volunteers, wasn't it, that galvanised the bearers and getting everybody here. But you are the powerhouse behind all of this, because I know you're not going to agree with that, but you were left a letter by Ross, and he left very specific instructions to you, didn't he?
He did. He left a long farewell letter when we lost him in 2021. And one of the things that he said in that letter is, please fight for mental health. The support is just not there. And sort of once I'd got back on my feet, I looked into the whole sort of subject of suicide and suicide prevention, and it made me realise exactly what he was talking about, that, you know, he was one man, we're one family, but there are hundreds of thousands of people around the United Kingdom who struggle and get very little help. So we came up with the idea, one of my co-founders, Steve Phillip, who'd lost his son Jordan Legacy, and we just decided to do what we could, do our bit to try to bring hope to people who are in loneliness or despair or in isolation.
Well, let's just talk a little bit about that, because in your sport, there is a huge pressure, isn't there, to be a certain way, perhaps not talk about your feelings and your emotions. From your experience, what would you say to those around you who may be struggling?
I think it shows amazing strength and courage to speak up. We need more men to talk. That's how me and Mike met, was that talk club, what we do. You know, I wish my granddad had spoke more, especially Hal. You know, let us know how you're feeling. We might have been able to help, and that's why we're here, because, you know, women as well, but men tend not to speak. We need men to be strong, talk, and we can help you.
Mike, very briefly, you talk, you've been very vocal, you're a persuasive advocate. Are the politicians listening?
They are, and I see signs of improvement, but there's an awfully long way to go. We're not there yet. We've got a lot of things to achieve.
Well, the Baton leaves, thank you gentlemen very much indeed. Tomorrow it's heading over the Pennines and it's going to wind its way round the British Isles to Downing Street. The message here this evening from the organisers, from Mike and from Will, is very much that the Baton is a symbol of hope, and where there is hope, there is always an opportunity to save lives. Amy.
Absolutely, Claire, thank you. Such an important conversation to have, and I'm always in awe of Mike's strength. I'm sure you'll know we've followed his story throughout since he lost his son Ross. Now, if you or someone you know has been affected by the issues raised in that report tonight, then you can contact BBC Action Line via bbc.co.uk/Action Line for details of organisations which do offer advice and support. We're going to stay in Sheffield now, actually, because you may remember, after several decades as a department store, the former John Lewis building closed its doors back in 2021. Well, today the City Council have announced that it will be turned into a mixed-use space with retail, leisure, cafes, event and workspace, all in the Grade 2 listed building. Here's Mark Ansell with an update.
Yes, the Cole Brothers store, or what became John Lewis, closed 2.5 years ago, and now we know what it is going to become. A multi-use space is what they're calling it. It will have cafes on the ground floor, on the outside, and then if you go inside there'll be retail space, much of it for independent shops. You go up the steps onto the upper floors and you'll get the working space, the office space, and also some event space in there too. And then on the top, on the roof, there's actually going to be a pocket park. So the idea being that there's something for everyone here in the centre of Sheffield. This has just been given the thumbs up at Sheffield City Council, and chairing that meeting is the new leader of Sheffield City Council, Tom Hunt. Now, Tom, why have you gone for this multi-use space rather than one retailer like you had before?
Well, I'm really pleased that we've taken this decision today, because this is very much a scheme in line with the way in which city centres are today. City centres are increasingly destinations for meeting, for eating, for drinking, and yes, for shopping, but also working. And in the proposal that we've got from Urban Splash, who are our preferred developers, we've got all of that. Their proposal is mixed use, and it means that this building, this fantastic, much loved building at the centre of Sheffield, will once again become a destination for people in Sheffield to come and enjoy. And also, we want to attract people from further afield as well.
Anecdotally, since the building closed as John Lewis 2.5 years ago, there have been fewer people coming into the city centre, the footfall's down. Do you think this will get people back coming to the centre of Sheffield?
I absolutely do, and it's going to complement the heart of the city development, which is just down Cambridge Street behind us, which we've been working on over the last few years, and it's nearing completion. We've got new shops opening up down there, new cafes, and I think the heart of the city scheme, alongside the new Cole Brothers building with new life breathed back into it, are going to make sure that Sheffield City Centre is very much on the up, and I can't wait to see it taking off over the next few years.
Good stuff. Thanks, Tom. We've been asking people in the city centre what they make of these new plans for the John Lewis building.
there's obviously the lack of large retailers that are now going to come in and occupy spaces like that. So any multi-use that keeps a building open, provides jobs and opportunities, has got to be a good thing.
I have very fond memories of even buying the material for my wedding dress in there with my mum. Yeah, so wonderful that it's going to be used again as a place for people to go and enjoy.
It's a shame it ever closed, in fairness, I think, really. But anything to bring back some more life into the area would be good, I think.
The city centres need it. I mean, the high streets is dying because of obviously online shopping, etc. So, yeah, anything that brings people back to the city centre, keeps it more vibrant, is a good thing, yeah.
Well, the plan is to finish the project and get John Lewis developed into this new multi-use space in 3 years' time. We will watch this one very closely.
You're watching Wednesday's Look North, still to come on tonight's programme. We've got some special guests working behind the scenes with us tonight. We'll hear from the CBeebies stars before they take to the stage across Yorkshire. Remains found in mountains in California are those of missing actor Julian Sands.
Miss Honeychurch! You're not fit enough to go home alone.
The 65-year-old, who's originally from Yorkshire, was best known for his roles in the film A Room with a View and the television dramas 24 and Smallville. In an interview a few years ago, he said he was happiest close to a mountain summit on a glorious cold morning. Hundreds of steelworkers, including some from Sheffield, have marched on Parliament today.
Save our steel! Save our steel! Save our steel! Save our steel! Save our steel!
The Steelworkers Union are calling on the government to take urgent action to secure the future of Britain's steel industry. Workers from Liberty Steel and Sheffield Forgemasters are part of the action, calling for competitive energy prices, investment in green steel production and introduction of climate measures.
The government have sat on the hands for years. They've not invested in the steelworks and they've decimated the steelworks. The rising energy costs are crippling the steel industry, and if they rely on cheap imports for infrastructure going forward, it could end in disaster.
Well, the government says they recognise steel plays a vital role in the UK economy and they're working closely with the sector. A couple from Sheffield who set up the charity Gambling with Lies were awarded MBEs at Windsor Castle today. Charles and Liz Ritchie set up the charity in 2018 following the death of their 24-year-old son Jack from a gambling-related suicide. He'd been drawn into gambling on highly addictive machines while still in school. Their charity provides support and raises awareness of the devastating effects of gambling disorders.
The award is recognition by the government and by the state of just how dangerous gambling is and how action is needed now. And although the award is coming to Liz and I, we fully recognise that it's due to the work of so many families and so many other campaigners.
And we speak with Jack's voice because he's not here, on behalf of all the people who have died, so all the bereaved families.
And they've worked tirelessly on that campaign. Right, it's road cycling season and we love a bit of that around this neck of the woods, don't we? The men's Tour de France and the women's Tour of Italy are about to start, but locally we can get very close to the best domestic racing cyclists at Ilkley this coming Friday night and at Otley tonight. Guess who needed absolutely no persuasion to cover this? It's Paul Ogden. It's over to you, Oggy.
Oh, wow, you can imagine how happy I am. I'll tell you, not least because you can actually have conversations with the riders themselves, including this gentleman, who we should celebrate as the new British Circuit Racing men's champion, Ollie Wood from Wakefield, but he goes a lot further. Congratulations on your title.
Thank you very much.
This should be a piece of cake for you tonight, shouldn't it?
Oh, I don't know about that. I'll try and make it a piece of cake, but it's always a very tough night and battling with the weather a bit. It's a bit gloomy. It might even rain.
we're all fascinated to know how you won your title on the tarmac. I know it wasn't your first ever road race, but we're used to seeing you with Ed Clancy and co back in the day in the GB track cycling team. How different is it really?
Kind of goes hand in hand, to be honest. Obviously, it's still endurance sport, still endurance cycling. It's not too different. The training's the same, and it was just good to get stuck in and obviously get that win last Friday in Redcar.
The only disappointment, Ollie, with all these people watching on Look North is that we couldn't see you in your your British Champions jersey. Are you going to be wearing that in the climax race tonight?
Yeah, I certainly will be. I've got a special skin suit made by Hoop that have sorted me out, so yeah, I'll have the stripes on tonight.
And for every circuit race that you ride for the next year?
Yeah, until the national champs next year, where hopefully I might try and win it again.
Fantastic to have you on the programme tonight. Congratulations on your title. I'll introduce you to a rider who we've not heard from before on Look North, but I think we're going to hear a tremendous amount of in the future. Kat Ferguson, who's from the Skipton area, who, though a junior, came second in the women's circuit race in Redcar on Friday. Congratulations on that performance, Kat. And what stage of life are you at besides your cycling career?
So at the moment I'm in year 12, so I'll be sitting my A-levels next year. I'm doing 2 A-levels and 1 B-Tech.
That's rather a busy life already with the travelling and riding nights like this. How experienced a rider do you feel when you come here? Is this meat and drink to you now, or do you still feel new to the scene?
Quite new, racing in with women that are more experienced than you and older than you is quite a challenge when you've not been at the races for as long as they have. But it's definitely great to come here and learn from them as well as compete against them.
And inspired, no doubt, by the Lizzie Digdons of this world, you've got ambitions in all different directions. Briefly, Kat, are those in professional cycling, or is your career going to take you in a different direction?
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to carry on doing what I'm doing right now. Hopefully pick up a pro contract which would enable me to kind of do this professionally and earn a living from it.
Good luck to you in all that you're doing, and keep doing what you're doing. If you came second in that circuit race as a junior, you've got a big future ahead of you. It's great to have you on Look North tonight. A name to look out for, Kat Ferguson. I would get down here as soon as you can. It's great to actually get so close to the riders and the kit. And there's more at Ilkley on Friday. If I'm too old to be a bike racer long term, Amy, I would say I'd like to be a bike mechanic. It's all so shiny here.
Such a super fan, and we love your enthusiasm. Thanks, Oggy. Next tonight, people with learning disabilities are the group with the lowest employment rates in the UK, but it's often not due to a lack of them wanting to work. One West Yorkshire charity that helps get more people into paid employment is celebrating its 10th anniversary. So we thought we'd go and find out more about the impacts that they have. Beth Parsons has this report.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you today?
I'm very good.
A 5-hour shift at the supermarket.
Do you have a boost card?
I do.
But for Toby, it's much more than that.
When people say, oh, you're just working in a supermarket, they'll say like, oh, it's just shelf stacking, isn't it? But no, there's more to it. Like, there is more to shelf stacking. There's like the tills, like there's team managers, there's team leaders, there's literally meet and greet, there's like cleaning, there's like cafe work, there's literally all sorts. It's endless, absolutely endless. It is.
We feel Toby's the right man for the job because he's already really friendly and interactive, and the work that he's doing, being a greeter and working on the tills, is really encouraging that, and he's really come out of his shell in the short time he's been with us.
I always like to see if I can beat my record of how many baskets and trolleys I can do. My record is 16 for the trolleys and 54 for the baskets.
He's wanted to have employment for a long time now. He's done a lot of voluntary work beforehand, but wanted to step up the responsibility. He's become a lot more confident. I think he also feels now that other places are accessible to him.
Toby is a member of Outside the Box, a charity that supports people with learning disabilities to get into work with local employers, as is aspiring chef Emily, who's a bit further down the road in the Garden Centre Cafe.
I work on a Thursday and Friday, and I normally down there shopping, repairing stuff before lunch. I learn a lot of new skills in Moss and Bar.
But life's no fun if it's all work and no play, so once the shift is over, you may find members like Toby and Emily here, outside the box in Ilkley Town Centre, and there's a lot that goes on.
Outside the box is who we are,
we've got our working life session down in the cafe. When members come, they learn all those skills that you might need if you're looking for employment. So they're serving customers, making food in the kitchen, baking cakes, prepping, and then we have our Choices service, which happens up here in the arcade, and we have a range of activities from arts and craft through to drama, digital skills and cooking and baking.
The employment rates for people with a learning disability are under 6%, so they have the lowest employment rate of any group in our population nationally. But over 65% of people with a learning disability, when asked, say, yes, I would really like to work.
Anyone can stop by Outside the Box Cafe, which is part of the Ilkley Community Enterprise, where the cost of a coffee will help get more people who want it into paid work. It's clear that for the existing 60 members of the charity, there's a lot more than just coffee brewing here. Beth Parsons, BBC Lit North, Ilkley.
And I'll definitely pop in and say hello next time I'm in the area. A group of deaf children from Leeds are taken to the stage tonight to perform in their first musical concert. The Moore Allerton Primary School pupils, all of whom have hearing loss, only started learning their brass instruments in January last year, but tonight they'll be joining deaf and hearing performers from across Leeds. They'll be sharing the stage with the world-class Rothwell Temperance Band. It's hoped the event will showcase what deaf people are capable of in music.
I'm feeling very excited and nervous.
I'm really excited to perform. I've never performed before. And every time I've grown up, I've not performed before, so I'm really excited. I'm a little bit embarrassed, though, because everybody might be looking at me.
I think we all sound very good together, and I think they all know what they're doing.
Oh, well, best of luck to them all. The comedian and presenter behind the iconic Keith Lemon and Avid Merrian are returning to Yorkshire for his first ever tour. Lee Francis is set to perform at venues in Sheffield, Halifax, York and Bradford as part of his My First Time tour. The character Keith Lemon was actually inspired from Lee's real-life Yorkshire friend who'll be in the audience in Leeds and Halifax. The comedian says he cannot wait to return to his Yorkshire roots.
It's nice hearing so many northern accents. I don't feel like the odd one out anymore. So yeah, going to Leeds, it'll be wonderful, and I'm sure I'll have lots of friends there who will be heckling me, which will be fun.
You can always have a heckle in the audience, I'm sure he can handle it. Now, next week marks 75 years of the NHS. So we're asking you, when was the NHS there for you? Whether you or someone you know has received treatment and help. Maybe you yourself work in the NHS, or perhaps you remember the days before the NHS even existed. We'd love to hear from you before the anniversary on the 5th of July. So you can get in touch via email, look.north@bbc.co.uk, or you can message us, BBC Yorkshire, on Facebook. If you have young children in your life, you'll probably recognise this sound. Oh. That famous bark has made CBeebies' Hey Duggee a firm favourite in many households. The characters are now on tour in theatres across Yorkshire with their Olivier Award-winning stage show, so we invited them for a Look North tour. Oh, wait a minute. Hi, Happy.
Counting you in 3, 2, 1. Cue Amy.
Thank you, Happy. Great job. And Duggee, you are looking very comfortable on cameras.
Oh, what?
Betty Rowley, welcome to the studio. How do you two fancy having a go at presenting?
Yay!
I think that's a yes. OK, over to you on camera 1.
Hello and welcome to Look North. I'm Betty.
And I'm Rowley.
Breaking news just in. The hit TV series Hey Duggee has made the leap from screen to stage. It's in York this week and in Leeds next month.
And we're in it.
Yes, we are. But first, let's take a look at the weather forecast with Norrie and Tag. Take it away, guys. The weather this week is going to be warm.
It'll be a bit muggy with the potential for some showers.
I'll be making sure to bring my umbrella and sunscreen.
Me too. The rest of the week will be sunny with the odd bit of rain. That's the forecast from us.
Sounds good to me. Come join us on the sofa. Well, I think my work here is done. Are you all free tomorrow? What do you think, Duggee? Didn't they do well?
Oh, woof!
My kids are going to be so jealous.
Well done, everyone. That's a wrap. And cut.
Keely, I think they've done us out of a job. You're sacked.
Absolutely, although I'm not sure that is quite the forecast for the rest of the week.
It did look lovely. I quite liked it.
It would be very nice, wouldn't it? And actually, it doesn't look too bad at all. Hello there. Today, it's been warm and humid. We got up to 23 degrees, but we have had a lot of cloud in the forecast. You can see here overhead Wakefield. And the second picture is much the same. Some rather angry, threatening-looking clouds in picture 2 as well. Stratocumulus clouds, but they've also been rain-bearing towards the end of the day. It did get rather damp. Brighter conditions tomorrow, so keep your pictures coming into the Weather Watchers page, or you can tweet me, or I'm on Instagram as well. So yes, we are looking at something brighter in the forecast for tomorrow, and a little bit fresher as well, but it will feel pleasant in the sunshine. So most places dry, and there will be some decent spells of sunshine, particularly first thing. It could well be wall-to-wall sunshine. Much fresher air, that's because a cold front is going through at the moment. And then we've got another couple of fronts overnight, Friday into the weekend. The weekend, as you can see from the isobars, does look breezy, and there will be 1 or 2 showers around, but the showers will be very hit and miss, and it does look like there will also be some spells of sunshine. So a lot of cloud on the satellite picture here, and the cloud is now producing outbreaks of rain and drizzle. The rain and drizzle may well pep up again as we work through the night. So as we go through the next few hours, I think the rain will probably pep up for eastern areas. It'll leave behind a legacy of cloud for a while, but then clearer skies will spread in from the west, and temperatures will fall back to around 11 or 12 degrees. So as we work our way through tomorrow, it does look like it's going to be a nice day. Let's have a little look at the at the tide times at 8 minutes past 1 in Scarborough and at 17 minutes past 1 in Filey. So we start the day tomorrow with some sunshine. Any residual cloud will move away. Plenty of sunshine for the morning. The cloud will bubble up, and there could be the odd shower as we head through the day, but they will be very hit and miss. Most places will be dry and fine with some good spells of sunshine. And temperatures tomorrow about where they should be for this time of year, but it will feel cooler and fresher than today. Temperatures at around 20 degrees. On Friday, a fine start to the day, clouding over from the west with rain later. It looks bright and breezy for the weekend, Amy.
Definitely preferred Hey Duggee's forecast. It was sunshine all week. Come and join us, Keely. That's it from us. Hey Duggee and the Squirrels will be here with the late news. I'm joking, it's Hannah. See you later. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.